Alright, so this is the piece that I'll be drawing today. And you can see the line art is already on there and you're probably like, huh? How is this a tutorial? Well, this is my trick, so I wanted it to show up on camera very well. What I do for landscapes that I am a bit too intimidated to try, but I still want to have a go at, is I will do line art for it. So I just draw it out. I draw the basics, so the foreground and the background in pencil, and then I will just use a brush pen, but you can use a fine liner or even a black pen or like anything you have that's waterproof. And this helps you with understanding the composition and not having to worry about it so much when you are actually painting, right? So if you do this first, then when you're using the watercolors, it kind of turns into like a coloring book. So you can focus a lot more on the values and the colors that you're using instead of, you know, overthinking where you want to put what, like the paint down. So let's look at the reference picture. This is, I picked this one because it has a sort of very defined front and back so that I can explain to you what I do. So I usually will start at where the front and the back are divided. So obviously this is this hill right here. Right, it's just a curved line that goes down the middle. So I was like, okay, this indicates that this is the foreground and it's a hill, and then we have the stuff in the back. So one of the main focal points is the house, right? Because it's drawn, so you draw it on an angle, right? You follow the perspective of the reference picture and then you don't go all the way down. It indicates that this is a hill that's going down this way. And then the other main important part is the fence. So the fence starts off big and it gets smaller so you can get a sense of distance because things get smaller in the distance. And it also kind of curves, so it kind of indicates this is like a hilly, uneven sort of area. Okay, those are the two more important things. And then after you're finished with this, you can think about the background. All we have in the background are just trees. So all I did for that was just take a pencil and just like do squiggly lines, kind of making sure that I follow like the curve of a tree down. And the only other thing I kept in mind was to make sure that they overlap in different areas, right? So I didn't just draw them like this one after the other. I made sure that this one went in the front and this one in the back, and then after that we have all of this complicated stuff in the background with the reference picture. And I was kind of intimidated by that. I was like, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it, and you know what, that's okay. I'm just going to leave it blank for now, and then I can always add in the line art later. And then of course there's just more squiggly lines up top with the mountains. So yeah, I really needed to be able to explain that. So I didn't show a video of how I do the sketch. I can do that in another one, but I don't think it's that important. This is mostly just looking at the reference picture, and it really depends on your skills with lines so far. So I can see I'm not super advanced, but I've been trying to learn a little bit about perspective, and I try my best to copy what was on the reference picture. Let's get on with it. So I'm going to tape it down first, just so it doesn't move all over the place and I can have an easier time filming. I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil that I still have on there, and then we can paint.
I don't know if I'm cut out for this, you know? I mean, like, would a baby try and teach adults how to adult? No, because it's a baby. Would a baby teach other babies how to adult? No, because it's a baby. It can't talk. So I don't know what I'm doing making this tutorial, but, you know, if there's anyone out there who is struggling, or my biggest thing is I'm always scared to start. So if there's anyone out there who will see this and find it helpful, then like, yay.
Okay. A little bit of zoomy zoom, and maybe a little bit of adjusting camera. So before we start, I'm actually going to add a little bit of masking fluid down here, because in the reference picture there are little white flowers at the top, or sorry, at the very bottom here. This is not mandatory. You can just leave that out and like add in little black flowers at the end, or if you have a gel pen, like a white gel pen, or any other type of white writing device like a Posca pen or anything that's opaque, you can use that after, so you don't have to worry about it. But I have some masking fluid and I do not use it enough, so I think I'm gonna try and add a little bit of something something. to wet the top. It's best to start with the top so that, why am I saying top like that? It's best to start with the top so that you don't smudge anything on the way down. So in the reference picture, this is just kind of a little bit gloomy, so I'm just gonna use kind of like a gloomy-ish blue, and I'm just going to add. I did the wet on wet on the very top just because, I mean, you don't have to, you can just color it in like I said, but I put down a layer of water first because I wanted the paint to kind of spread instead of have any sort of hard lines for the very top. And yeah, I might add just like a little bit of a darker one just in there, like, oh yes, moody, or sassy, or classy, or bougie. Okay, so that's all you need to do, and it's okay that I went over a bit because I'm just going to, you know, color those in anyways. I'm going with a smaller brush because I think that was too much. And so the next step would be to do this, but since I just wet this part, I'm gonna leave it. And so I'm gonna move on to this part. So in the reference picture, you can see that this entire part is, at the lightest areas, it's like a yellowish sort of color. So I'm gonna start with that. And I'm skipping this layer right here just because this is touching the wet over here, and so if I were to put down any water here, it would smudge, obviously. So a little bit of this, and I'm not like caring too much about the colors right now, it's not that big of a deal. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of, you know, and I'm just gonna go in and do it up. And I mean, like, this is very yellow, but it's gonna be covered by other things later, right? So it's not, it's okay. This is just the lighter part. And see, this is kind of hard, like you have to avoid the trees, but I mean, I'm gonna be painting them like pretty dark green after, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, if I go over a certain few areas, it's okay, like it's not, you know, the worst thing ever. And like you can experiment with watercolor techniques here too, right? I'm just spreading the paint pretty evenly, but if you wanted to go in and like add some water and make like those like splashes, you could. That would be alright, because it's your business, right? It's your business, it's your art, it's your business. That's what I'm trying to keep in mind. It's my business. Like, it's literally no one's I've been in school for so long that I feel like everything I make is gonna be graded, but like there's no rules, just like go for it. The worst thing that could happen is that you could dislike it, and then so what? Like, just try it again, or put it in a folder to dye, and then bring it out a few months later and see if you can regrade it. Like, it's okay if you hate it, like, that's the whole point. If you hate it, that means that you probably know that you could do better, and then you should just go ahead and try and do better. But I wouldn't recommend the negative mindset. Like, it's okay to like your stuff even if it's not like how it ended up. Even if it's not, you know, the perfect look, like the perfect thing that you were going for. What now? I think this part at the top is dry, so I can do this little area right here. So that one is like a more of a sort of light brown. I think I'm just going to keep it, maybe some burnt amber, maybe some of that. And I want to keep it light because it looks like it's like in the clouds, but I mean, I'm not trying to recreate like the fog in there. That's like too much work and it doesn't really matter right now. So I'm just doing a light layer for now because it is kind of, like I said, it's kind of foggy. And as you can see, the background is lighter than the foreground actually. But I mean, if I want to, I can go in later and just add a few more layers to make it darker, or add like some details to make it really look like a mountain and not just like a blob of area. That's done. And so actually you could do this, so make sure you keep a rug with you. You could do this, you could clean your brush, make sure it's like a little more dry, and then you can go in and add like lighter kind of, you know, it's nothing amazing, but I mean, pretty sure this is not how mountains go. Whatever, I'm gonna leave it. It's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. So then right now I'm gonna do the same thing with the trees. I'm gonna do like a light layer of tree that resembles the lightest shade that I see kind of on the trees. I'm gonna color the whole thing in it, and then after I'm gonna add dark stuff, like a darker shade. Right, alright. Alright, let's do it on this side. Alright, we're adding. More water. Oh, I made a little boo-boo there. That's alright. Sometimes you can just use your finger and fix it. One thing about this paper, so this is bee paper. It's 100% cotton, but it's pretty, well, relatively cheap compared to other brands. And the thing is that you can't really lift paint off of it very well. So sometimes with watercolor, like for example, if I were to do like this and then I were to leave it there for a little too long, it would create a hard edge and then it would be hard for me to blend that out. Versus with other papers, you can go in and blend that out so that you can't see the edge easily. So I find with this paper you gotta just work a little bit faster, which is why I prefer to do smaller paintings, because I'm not fast enough or advanced enough to do big ones on this paper yet. Considering I only have this paper and the other one, Canson. And Canson, I mean, Canson drives me insane, but it is really cheap and it's great for practice. So I don't really know, I don't really have a lot of practice like using good paper. I do have some Arches paper. I'm too scared to use that. That's just too fancy for me to use, okay? I don't know when the time will come, but when the time has come, I will probably make a video because I'll be so excited. Like, finally I'm worthy of Arches paper. I don't even know why I bought it, just for it to sit there. Like, why do I even need Arches paper if I'm not gonna use it? I should at least try one just to see if the experience is like, you know, elite. Look at me rambling. I haven't done one of these videos yet where I talk while I'm painting. It's kind of fun. Okay, so there's that. All right. And now that this layer is dry, yes, I can go back up here, and that one is like a bit more of like a dark kind of grayish sort of look. So mixing a little bit of black with a little bit of brown, which I have on this tray over here. Maybe add a little more. Okay, and we're going back in. And the cool part about using like brush pens or an outline is you can get kind of creative with how the lines look too, right? Like I left some spaces here, like at the top right over here. Oh man, it's blurry. Like at the top, like right over here, I left it. And there's no like hard line because it didn't come out of my pen. Because I don't know how to use calligraphy pens that well yet. Or brush pens, whatever. But I kind of liked it. So you can experiment with like thick lines or, you know, not fully connected lines or etc. Alright, so far it's looking good. I think I can go ahead and move on to this now. And so the bottom is kind of like, for me, it's a mix between like a yellowish green and just like a green, you know? And this is a very yellow green, so I'm gonna mix it up with a little bit of this. And so that kind of looks good to me. It's pretty dark, right? It's like even the lighter areas are kind of dark, but I think it needs a little bit more of like a more muted light, but muted, right? Like it's like a, not quite bright yellowy, it's like a golden kind of yellow, like a cadmium medium yellow. I don't really know. I forgot the name. Okay, let's just try this. Hopefully I have enough paint in there to cover this whole thing. I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna try to avoid the house. I should actually be using my big brush for this. I don't know why I decided. This is kind of fun. fun. I've been avoiding making a video like this for so long because I thought that it would be pretty hard to talk and paint at the same time. But because this piece is pretty simple and I don't have to really think about where everything goes, like I've thought through where most of these are going, right? So it's not, and when it's like wet on wet still, you can go in and just like add darker places and it's like totally okay. Gotta get a little corner over there, a little corner over there, and this too because it's like see-through. So this is wood right here, but then back there it's supposed to be like a more clear, like just a regular fence. So that's what is up. So there's like a lot of greenery here. And then this background part is like also just lighter, but see, I tried to go for some sort of like texture and I didn't end up liking that, so I'm just gonna cover it all up and then add more details afterwards. Or I can add like a little more detail now, so I can go in with like a darker green. Ooh, that was too dark. That was a little too much. So, you know. Make this whole dark thing because of the plants that are here. And then all along this is a little darker as well. It's kind of nice, right? I mean, it's not like amazing, but it's pretty good. And then also in the background over there, I'm just gonna add a little bit more darkness. Okay. So for now, I think I can leave that where it is. And why would I do that? Why would I do that? Okay. Okay. Let me just try and fix that. All right. I'm feeling a little bit like there's just not enough in the background there, so I'm just gonna add it. Okay, I like this, and now I guess we should move on to the tops. So now you go in and add a little bit of detail. So I'm gonna go in with the same color that I used at the top over here, and just like maybe make some, I don't know, some like little marks. Right. There would be shadows, even if they're not like super pronounced shadows. There would be shadows. I don't know what kind of hill that is. It's alright. It doesn't have to be. So I didn't really do anything there except for make it darker. Okay, using the same color, I'm just gonna add a little more at the top, so like just like some ridges at the top. You know, nothing big, nothing big. You can barely see it, but it adds a little bit of texture. I think I'm good to go. I think I'm good to go for this. Okay, so for that I was kind of scared of, like I wasn't really sure what I'm gonna do with it, but all there really is in the background is just like some trees and some stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with like a bit more of like a greenish yellow maybe, and I'm gonna cover up some of these. So there's like little hills kind of here, right? So I'm gonna like just make a line where I want the trees to go, and that's where they'll go. just like abruptly stops right here. And then it just keeps going. Right, and then it like goes down here. And then all of this ends up being tree. Lit. All of this here is going to be covered. And then it's gonna have like little valleys, right? So I'm just and using like a darker sort of green. So I'm just gonna let that dry at the top and then come in and put it with like longer, thinner lines. And then over here, I'm gonna do some tree lines as well. Do I love it? No. Is it okay? Yeah. Alright. Oh, I don't like the way this looks here, but I don't think I can lift it. See, it's like pretty hard to lift it off, even if I wanted to. Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be from now on. Okay. So right now, I'm gonna do this layer right here. All I'm gonna do is just go in with a darker green. Maybe not that dark though. Alright. So we're just looking to see where the lightest parts are. And for me, it's sort of like right at the very edge here. So I'm gonna start like dotting. And then I'm just gonna keep doing that same thing. Will I like it? I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. So right now I'm adding the, like, not the very darkest shade, the middle one. I didn't do this well. The middle one, right? So this one is like, that one and this one would be pretty dark because they're like all the way in the back. They wouldn't have much sun. But then this one would have like light over here because it's more into the front. So we're just gonna, this was where the light would. I'm just gonna leave some. Okay, and then same thing for this. This would be like pretty dark. You don't have to worry about it too much. And then, yeah, this one would be, it's behind the two front things, so. Alright. And then this one would be pretty light even at the top. And then dark here. And then this one would be just mostly light. But would have. And they're all like pretty damn dark at the bottom, so I'm just gonna go in and like get all of them at the bottom. And then the next step would be to go in just like with a darker green after. Okay, so now that this area is like pretty dry, I think, yeah, I'm gonna go in with a brown for this thing. I think I want to do like a burnt amber, but mix it with regular amber, whatever. I'm just gonna color it all in and then add details of the wood planks after, because that's what I want. That's pretty good. And I think while I'm at it, I'm also gonna do the body of this. So to that brown, I'm gonna add a little bit of red ochre. Mix that up, maybe a little bit of English red. Mix that up. Love it, love it. And we got ourselves a little rose thing. Coloring it all in because the door is going to be a different color. Bam, bam, bam. I like it. Do you like it? I think I'll like it. That one is going to be almost like an indigo, but I'll do that after. I think these are like dry enough that we can probably go in with an even darker red green. Dark, dark, dark. Almost black, I would say. And then you want to do the ones. So the ones that are in the very back, you probably want to go with first. So I'm going to do this one because it's like all the way back there, especially this one too. It's kind of, you know, okay. And then this one as well. This one maybe a little less so. And then you're going in to the ones that are in the front but are touching other ones, right? This would leave like a wee bit of a shadow. Ta-da! So background for that is done. Okay, so now the trees are done. I think I can go in there. I'm going to switch my brush to something even a little bit smaller. Still need to go in and add the trees here because they kind of disappeared into nothing. Wow! Wow! Okay, I'm gonna do that one over there with some blau. Ta-da! And now, what was I gonna do now? Oh yeah, I was gonna go in with maybe a little bit more of like a yellowish green over here. So I'm gonna go in and just add. It's basically like a thin layer of water that is a bit tinted on the yellowy side. Now I'm just gonna add in a few more details. A bit more dark over here, and over here, and over here, and definitely over here, and like maybe a little bit here, and definitely here. Anytime you need to add more, just add more. It's okay. It's okay. More over here. Wow. You just keep working at it. Keep trying to add color. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. There's actually a lot of these little tiny flowers, so I'll try to add those in right now. I like the kind of spread, which is cool. I like that. It just means that you can control where they go a lot less. You might be like, I don't like the way that that looks. Okay, don't do it. It is all up to you. Hmm? Hmm? Doesn't this look kind of cute? Okay. Wow. Bam, bam. And since I'm here, I'm also gonna go in and add some like dark lines over here, indicating that these are here. Wherever I see some tall grass, I'm gonna just add some. Just all it is just little lines. That's all it is. And I see some over here, so I'm gonna add some, but that's not really dry enough yet, so I think I'm gonna leave it. If you ever get like hard edges like that, you can just go in and bloop, and bloop. Alright, and now all I have to do is what? Wait for it to dry, I suppose so. Make this big. Okay. And I was also going to add details to that. Sometimes you just gotta blow on it, you know me? Because my patience is, well, it's not the best, no? see in the reference picture, as you can see these like tiny little like shadows from where maybe there's like little dips inside of the thing. And I don't want it to look too plain, so I'm adding in a little bit of, you know, grays here and there. Big whoop. It'll dry very late, so it's okay. I just don't want it to look too like out of place. And just a little bit more. And like, you can't overdo it. Like, I'm overdoing it, right? So there's no need for that. I kind of like how this looks. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. So I have this jelly roll, and you can see some like white along the house here, kind of like at the very top, and maybe even like a little bit of the thing. Mostly you can see it like right here. So like, I always do that. I just dab the jelly roll a little bit if I don't want the line to be like super bright and stuff. Wanted to get this mountain to look right, you could like add a little bit of snow at the top, you know? Nothing big, just a little bit of detail. And if you ever go over the dark lines, you can always just come back in and fix it, so it's alright. And I guess there's a few houses over there in the background. I could draw them in, but I honestly don't want to kind of ruin it. I think I'll leave it. I'll just add a little bit right here, a little bit right there, and maybe a little bit down. Just a little bit of detailing. You see here, like, this background isn't amazing, but you know what? Like, it's fine. It's looking pretty good, so I can't be mad. I might add a little bit of a shadow though, because these trees need a little shadow. I will let this dry, and then I will come back for the peel off. Removing this with a pair of tweezers because it's really fun to do that. So let's get rid of these. Wow. All I gotta do now is just add the little dots in the middle for these. Ta-da! Wow! Alright, let's remove the tape, shall we? I really like how it turned out. Look at it. Yay!